What's going on, guys? It's the Skylander dude. It's 2025 and I'm still collecting rare Skylanders that I need for my collection. So let me show off the haul of what I've gotten so far this year. I'm gonna start this year's video off strong with a white flocked light core prism break. This is the second white flocked chase I've gotten from the set of 3. The first one was the white flocked stump smash. And if you're unfamiliar, this wasn't the only flocked light core prism break that was released. There was also an employee edition gold light core prism break that had some white flocking to resemble snow on the figure. I do not have that one yet. That one's a tough one to come by, but this chase will hold me over in the meantime. I picked this up off a lot on eBay and it came out to around $100 for just the figure. Pretty fair deal, if you ask me. But in terms of condition, unfortunately, this box does have tape on it. And this tape isn't just like Scotch tape that a random collector would have used to keep the backing onto the plastic bubble. Rather, this tape was used most commonly in Toys R Us to keep those figures together. Towards the end of Skylanders' lifespans, a lot of the back cardboard came detached from the plastic bubble. So places like Toys R Us would just have these like sticker-shaped pieces of tape that they put on the side of the boxes. And that's unfortunately what happened with this one. What sucks about it is that I can see the back cardboard didn't even come unglued from the bubble yet. So they didn't even need the tape, but they were just going around taping every single box in the store. And unfortunately, this flocked prism break was hit with the tape epidemic. Other than that, it's in pretty good shape, so I'm gonna sleeve it up and go on to the next figure. This next one is super interesting, and I bet a lot of you didn't even know this existed, but I have a single pack version of Jetvac. Jetvac, of course, came in the Skylanders Giant starter pack, and usually starter pack figures would not be released outside of the starter pack, especially if they were not even in a variant form. But this Jetvac here did get the single pack treatment, except it wasn't even released in the US. This specific one came from Australia, which I think it may have only been released in. I don't know if it got to other parts of the world. In the US, I know we at least had a single pack version of Series 2 Cinder. That was decently common to come across, but this single pack Jetvac never came to the US, so had to import it to get it in my collection. Such an odd piece to release to begin with. Because I mean, if you got the Portal Owners pack, it would make sense to get this single pack. But other than that, if you got any other starter pack, you already had the Jetvac figure. And of course, because it's such a limited released figure, I'm gonna sleeve it up. Gotta protect the rarest of the rare figures in my collection. And even coming in from overseas, the box is in really good shape, so I wanna keep it that way. And even after the crazy shipping, this only came out to $40, which I think is pretty fair for this figure. I mean, it's rare to begin with, and on top of it, I'm paying for international shipping, so thought that was a good price. And this next one is kind of in that same category of international releases that were pretty uncommon and didn't even come to the US. I have a single pack version of Dark Spyro, another starter pack character specifically for the Spyro's Adventure 3DS starter pack. That's where Dark Spyro originally released. And Dark Spyro actually got multiple single pack variations. I know this was an exclusive figure at Gamescom one year. There was one I've seen with a Target exclusive sticker, one with the international double hook style packaging. But this is just kind of the standard single hook, no exclusive sticker version of the package. I don't know which variant of the packaging is the rarest, if there even is one that's more rare than another, but all of them are pretty exclusive, pretty hard to come by, especially in the US, because this never made it here to the States. This box unfortunately has a pretty nasty crease across the corner, but I mean, other than that, I mean, the plastic is still glued to the back cardboard, which you have to appreciate for being 13 plus years old. But I found this listing on eBay, also from Australia, and after the shipping, it only came out to around $50, which again, I thought was pretty fair. Bet you can't guess what I'm gonna do now. Of course, I'm gonna sleeve it up, looking clean. Next up, I've got a chase from Spyro's Adventure. I've said this before, but these Spyro's Adventure chase variants are going to be the death of me. They are by far the hardest figures to come across, especially still in the package. But I found a good deal on this one, and it's a gold drill sergeant. Unfortunately, the back cardboard has been separated from the plastic bubble. Again, it's super tough to come across Spyro's Adventure chase variants in really good condition. So sometimes I gotta settle for figures that have the glue all dried up. But fortunately, once I slide the two pieces into a sky sleeve, it's kind of hard to even tell that they are detached. But pick this guy up on eBay for $100, which for a Spyro's Adventure chase, I think is a good deal. They're definitely the hardest bunch of chase variants to come across. And once you do, they're often not cheap. Got a little 2-for-1 next up here that I picked up in a lot. And these are single pack versions of the Sunrunner and Hot Streak. Hot Streak, again, being another starter pack figure that got this single pack treatment. And then Sunrunner was actually from a racing adventure pack. Adventure pack characters also rarely got non-variant single pack releases like this. Now, if you've seen some of the older hunting videos I've done, then you might know that I have the single pack of Spitfire and Astro Blast, and these two just kind of round out that little set for me. But yeah, another super weird release. Already really talked about it. It just so happens that I got a lot of starter pack single packs in this episode. But the Hot Streak specifically is mad expensive usually. Just like Spitfire, I've seen those single packs go for 50, 60, 70 bucks. And so when I saw these two together for 40 bucks, I hopped on that deal because I didn't think I'd ever find one sealed for cheaper than that. It's crazy to even think about a like $2 figure is worth so much more if it's in this single pack packaging. But yeah, that's just the exclusivity of some Skylanders figures for you. Now here, I've got a pretty odd collectible that I picked up, but this is a paper game case insert used at GameStop for when Skylanders Swap Force was available to pre-order. This would be folded up and then just slid inside a blank game case so they could put it on display in GameStop, but you could never actually just buy the empty game case with this insert in it. It was literally just used for a promo for display at GameStop. Not sure how someone on eBay ended up with this, maybe some GameStop employee or something. But I thought it was funny, kind of interesting, and for 12 bucks, I just picked it up just to have in the collection. You guys know me, you know I love to pick up these weird Skylanders items. I want to show this chase variant up next. Here I have the 2013 Dev Team Edition Gold Firecracken. This is only handed out to specifically Vicarious Visions employees, not all of Activision like the normal employee editions, which just kind of makes this figure even more rare. But what's even more difficult to come across is one that is still sealed. For some reason, the glue used for these figures are super dried up. Almost every eBay listing I see has the back cardboard detached from the plastic bubble, and that kind of steered me away from this figure for a while because I really wanted one that was still glued, still completely sealed. But I saw a good deal on this one, and even though the back was detached, I just kind of accepted the fact that almost all of them are like that at this point. And besides that, the card was still kept in really good shape. It's almost perfectly straight, no nicks or dents on the side. And it came out to like 115 bucks, which is a lot less than what these figures, even in this condition, sell like today. So I picked it up. Honestly, not a big deal. I mean, the figure itself is still really, really cool. I love these metallic coated figures that they would do, like the red metallic Dune Bug or blue metallic Chop Chop. These figures always had such a good shine on them. So even with the condition, I'm stoked to add this piece to the collection. But before I show off the final item of the episode, I have another fun item that I picked up to show you guys. And I've talked about something similar on the channel before, but these here are Spyro's Adventure dummy starter pack boxes. Also most commonly used at GameStop. They would fold together these little empty starter pack printed boxes just to show that pre-orders were now available for Spyro's Adventure. And here I have a 3DS, Wii, Xbox 360, and PS3 starter pack dummy. I'm not actually gonna fold these together just because they are not in the best shape. I don't wanna risk tearing these any more than they already are. But they only came out to $5 a piece in a lot I got off of eBay. And just considering how old and exclusive these are as collectibles, I had to get them at that price. But let's move on to the final and my favorite item of the episode. To wrap things up, I finally got for my collection a flocked Springtime Trigger Happy. It's a subtle difference from the normal Springtime Trigger Happy figure, but yeah, in this one, the Trigger Happy is actually fuzzy. This chase has eluded me for a long time. As soon as I saw it was going to be released back in 2014, I wanted this version over the normal Springtime version. Little did I know how rare it was actually going to be to find this in a store. And a few years later, I actually found a listing of this figure for 60 bucks, but I passed on it because back then I thought it was too much, and I've regretted it ever since. That was one of my biggest regrets, passing up on that figure, because I never found another one for that good of a deal. And even this one, I picked it up in a lot and it came out to like 125 bucks, more than double what I found that original figure at. But I'm still okay with that price. I do think that's a good deal for this figure. These guys sell at super high prices. So 125 I think is more than fair for this piece. Obviously the 60 would have been better, but that's long gone. I'm just honestly happy to finally have this piece in my collection. I love the flocked figures, and I love that this is kind of like a double variant. It's a chase of an Easter edition figure, and also just gets me one step closer to completing the Swap Force chase variant sets. I'm only missing one more chase from Skylanders Swap Force. But in the meantime, I will actually slide this into a sky sleeve because the Sparrow's Adventure and Giants single pack sleeves do fit the Easter editions. They are not perfectly compatible though, because these Easter edition boxes are shorter, so there's a lot of room at the top there. But I know myself, I won't be turning this upside down or laying it on its side. It's gonna stand just like this, so keeping it in a sky sleeve is still gonna protect it for me. But yeah, definitely the highlight of the episode for me. Love this figure. But here's everything I picked up all together from this episode. Let me know in the comments if you've gotten any good deals, what you came across this year, or what you're specifically hunting for. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Peace.